Good morning, everybody. Who all is in here? Janica, new moderator. Look at you. Ilyanka, you have been renting some space in my mind since the last show we did about Nancy Guthrie when you said, I think something happened naturally. And now this is all a big hoax. It is making more and more and more sense what you said, especially since the FBI said yesterday, all of these notes, all of this TMZ communication is fake. Fake. Not true. Is she missing? Yeah. Is anybody asking for money to bring her back? No, not at all. Hello, Outdoorsy Life. How are you? I'm out. Tropicana. I love it. I love it. Well, hello, Jonathan. Excuse me. Where is Fatal Paper Cut? He is a new moderator. Hey, Karma. What's up, girl? Hope everyone's doing good this morning. Did you take the poll? Let's just see. And I'm going to ask unofficial poll. Are you surprised with the FBI saying, this shit ain't real? No. Nobody wants no Bitcoin. No one's asking for money. No one has a video. No one has a proof of life. None of this is real. So then it goes back to the question, is it an inside job? Well, they have hinted that it is definitely someone that she knows. Janica said, not surprised at all. Tropicana said, nope. Not surprised. Not surprised. Angie and I were talking about this the other day, and we both said, look, there's something really off about this. Way off. Ilyanka said, I can only see the top choice, you bet. Can't expand it either. I'm going to go out and come back in. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Thank you, no, but did Savannah believe it was real? I'm so confused. Shit, I don't know if she did or not. I don't know. I have no idea. She has money. She has access to money. I'm going to assume she didn't think it was real because let's face it, nobody paid a dime. And then we come to the fact that through all the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of tips, celebrity mishaps, all the things that TMZ gets, they're getting ransom notes on Nancy Guthrie. Sus deluxe. Let's go ahead and tell everybody good morning. I agree with Johnny. It's very interesting. Good morning, Stephen. Today is 5 months. 5 months since Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. I am going to lean with Ilyanka on this. I'm going to say something happened the night before, and this crime scene was staged. It's crazy. Now, we know that the sheriff is a shady dude, okay? We know that he did not want the FBI involved in this at all. But now, as things are unraveling, you can tell they are because, well, it just doesn't seem as sloppy as it did before. So let's get to what the FBI said. All right, this is from News Nation, and I mean, they only gave it a minute and a half. I figured they would be like talking about this all night. It's fake. I'm not saying Nancy was fake. I'm not pulling a Ryan Upchurch. All of those damn notes are fake.
So a major twist tonight in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie. Federal investigators now say that all 3 so-called kidnapping notes linked to the case, fake. Nancy vanished from her Tucson home in late January. Investigators believe that she was abducted after this.
He said it, not me. She vanished from her home in late January. We have been told February 1st from the get. He let it slip. Not me. Not Sheriff No News.
Blood that was linked to her was found outside the home. Surveillance video captured the masked intruder near the property. But now the FBI tells Reuters that none of the messages sent to media outlets claiming to be from the kidnappers or from someone who knows.
Media outlets? Is that what we're calling TMZ now? Media outlets? Norma, who is in Arizona as we speak, said, I don't believe anything about this case. Home skillet. No. I think this woman died of natural causes, and it is a big cover-up. Does Savannah know? I don't know. Does her brother know? I don't know. Annie? Well, I mean, they did seize her car, and her and old boy are still not in the house. I don't know where they're hiding out.
The kidnappers were genuine. Investigators determined that the first 2 notes from February came from the same sender, one even reportedly claiming Nancy died. And after placing cryptocurrency into an account provided in one demand, the money was never touched.
So there's always more going on behind the scenes. The FBI did send money. Cryptocurrency. I'm loving it. Bitcoin, what they call it now, the cool kids. And they said that account was never touched.
So that, along with other forensic evidence, led agents to conclude seemingly that the notes were hoaxes. And this development raises new questions about whether Nancy was ever taken for ransom at all. And this is as investigators continue to analyze the DNA and the video evidence, and they search for whoever took her. We're definitely going to keep an eye on this. All right.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, you're welcome. Ooh, Norma says TNA are out of state. And they're a whole different story. Tina, something's up with them. I agree 100%. Something is definitely off. And I tell you what, if that was my sister, the last thing I'd be doing is kissing ass to get a game show right now. I'm telling you what, I would be so damn mad. Okay. But, I mean, it's like what Gomer Pyle used to say.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Surprise, it's Gomer Pyle. You mean that's right, I'm back. Gomer Pyle, USMC. And what surprise I'm Dale. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. I'm only going to play part of this because I want to really focus in on a picture of Nancy Guthrie to show how improbable it is. Now, this is before the FBI said that the notes were fake. Okay? They're talking about the language used in the letters. And I don't think they're fake. Somebody wrote them. I think it's a big ass hoax and cover up, but I really want you to look at this picture with me.
On the air. But I know somebody who was a psychiatrist at a prison hospital for years, very well-respected psychiatrist. And he told me years ago that there was it's not the only test it was, but one of the tools they would use in figuring out whether a patient who was coming in, a prisoner, was a sociopath, right? No empathy whatsoever, was the following riddle. They would offer this riddle to all the prisoners, and the ones who were not sociopaths would have one kind of answer, and the ones who were sociopaths would.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Hey, everybody, let's have a round of applause and tell all of our Canadian friends north of the border, happy Canada Day. How are you all celebrating? Hope it is absolutely wonderful. You know, I think I got the wrong one. Here we go.
Here's the picture I wanted to show you. So we discussed how the perpetrator.
Okay. Now, this is a very famous picture of Savannah and her mom. Now, let's explain what happens as we get older. We start to lose our height. Okay. However, Savannah is holding her mom up, keeping her steady, and she has a cane. Now, I'm going to need a nurse to explain to me what is going on with her arm.
Might have been out there stalking, getting information about Savannah. Take a look at Nancy Guthrie in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Notice anything on her left arm?
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Apple Watch. The very infamous Apple Watch. You can see her skin is very, very thin. And this looks like, I'm not saying anyone did anything to her, okay? But there is a lot of bruising going on, okay? Now, she gets a lot of blood draws because they do what's called a PT-INR on her. She takes warfarin. I just read it. Please do not ask me for medical advice. Ilyanka said it looks like internal bruising. How long do you think this woman would live being jerked out of her bed at 2 a.m., roughish in the morning, and hauled off by some damn kidnappers? You can tell right here, she is a very frail woman. Very frail woman. Impress Me said she's on blood thinners. She can bruise if she pushes her skin too hard with a finger. And said her dad's hand looked like that from medication.
It's
the Fitbit or whatever.
an Apple Watch,
Apple Watch, yeah.
with a white band.
Yeah.
Apple Watch with a white band. Not for nothing, but you can see Nancy's skin. This happens sometimes with the elderly. With her skin looks almost purple from the mid forearm down, just underscoring that she was a fragile old lady. This is 2023, so 3 years before she would be abducted. You can see. I mean, look at that. It's like the picture of somebody who is frail. You can see her cane. You can see her old skin. I mean, aging. I don't mean old. I mean aging skin. Obviously a circulatory problem because you can see the blood is pooling down on her extremities, and you can see the watch. So it's telling from a number of perspectives. Now, the CBS.com report said that the perpetrator described Apple Watch with a white band on the floor of her bedroom. So, if you're just somebody taking a shot.
And says, I hate when Megan says pooling. That's a death term. Megan don't fucking know. Listen to what she just said. She went to CVS.com. Oh my gosh. Even I can do a little bit better research than that. Meg Kell.
That's risky to say that's where it was when you don't know. So you could know about the Apple Watch with the white band. I don't know that you'd be able to say where it was the day she was taken. And the other piece of it is Howard Bloom reporting specifically he's adding this. He says the first note actually also correctly described what Guthrie had been wearing on the night she was abducted. Again, how accurate, how closely did they describe it? You know, I know what my mom sleeps in every night, and you could, if you hit the category, I'd probably believe you. But if this person actually said, you know, it was like leopard pajamas and that's what it was, you'd believe him. Like the FBI knows how close this guy came to the mark. And again, Harvey, who's been in constant contact with the FBI, is reporting that the FBI believes the first two are authentic. Savannah, constant contact.
They could not have possibly told him that. Matter of fact, he said he was going to do a documentary, raise a bunch of money, and pay this ransom. And they said that could be a good idea. I just don't think they were speaking that fluidly with him. It is the FBI FFS, if you know what I mean. I have no doubts that somebody from TMZ has been contacting them. I just don't believe they are making him like a part of the convo. Hello, Lisa A.
Contact with the FBI believes the first two notes are authentic, like from the kidnapper. And my information was that the second note, the apology note, whatever we're calling it, she's now died note, that the reason they believed it was from the first guy was that it also had a reference to the same Bitcoin account as was in the first. But that...
Okay, so we know none of that's true. Because now we know it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. So let's look at this picture again. And I am not picking on old people. Hell, I will look like this in 20 years. Okay? It would be almost impossible to kidnap her. Almost impossible. She would die right there in the bed just out of shock. I think something happened before and this has been staged. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. And I think this sheriff, No News, knows it for real. I think he knows it. But since he is like a cat on a hot tin roof because he knows his job is in jeopardy, they're wanting to overturn the election. They're so pissed at him. He also has the reality show. What's it called? Desert Justice? Ooh. Desert Justice. And the next season is going to be all about Nancy Guthrie. Well, what the hell are you going to talk about? You haven't solved shit. That's it. And they also said it was very common to see her with like Band-Aids all over her legs and arms. They said she could just easily bump anything up. And said it. And she would be bleeding. So not necessarily does it mean that blood that they found had to do with anything foul. She could have easily sneezed. She could have been walking out the door to get in her Uber and, bumped her elbow, bumped her hand. Look at all the blood that is in her arms. Another reason why I think this sheriff, Ange is on a roll today. Ange, did you eat your Wheaties? Ange said, Sheriff wannabe Hollywood. Woo, Hollywood. Well, Sheriff Hollywood wouldn't let the Cajun Navy come in and search. He told them no. Why? They are nonprofit. They are not asking you for anything. They have their own dogs. They have their own drones. And let's face it, they've done some amazing work. They have done some amazing work. Now, I'm not talking about the Temu version that Seth Rogers had. I mean, the actual United Cajun Navy. So they made a statement. He told them, nah, stay home.
Brian Trasher, United Cajun Navy Vice President. Great to see you. So you are not in Arizona right now. You are in Minnesota. I can see you're in your car, lots of lightning behind you. What are you doing up there?
Yeah, so I got talked into following some of our storm chasers up here, and we just intercepted a tornado outside of Hitterdal, Minnesota. You'll probably see that report come out of the National Weather.
The what? There was a tornado in Minnesota? Who do we have in here from Minnesota? I know preschool grannies in Wisconsin. My goodness. Woo!
Their service, if it hasn't already. But we're out here following some lines of convection, and hopefully be here if it hits any populated areas.
All right. Well, we will certainly pay attention to that. But let's get to what we had you on to talk about tonight. The Cajun Navy, of course, for months has been trying to help Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos.
Okay, before we get to that, Johnny Kramer, the music movie. This was brought up by another YouTube channel, and not a YouTube channel like mine, someone that knows what they're talking about. And they explained about the spider outbreak that they had over the wintertime in the desert, and had said if she had been bit by a spider, she could have died easily. Interesting you brought that up. I'm not saying that's what happened. It's just right now, since we know that there's a huge hoax going on, all possibilities are on the table.
You submitted a detailed plan of how you would assist in the search. You said, we're not trying to get in the way. We just want to give you extra resources to find Nancy Guthrie. Can you tell us some of the ways you think you'll be able to help, and why do you think that's still being rejected?
Well, I don't know exactly how many times it was rejected. We do know that there was a sort of like a blanket declination from the sheriff's office to accept any outside help. As far as, what we do, what we could bring to the table, mostly surrounded our ability to deploy canine teams and drone teams to the area. We really felt strongly that there was a good chance that she could have ended up somewhere along the border, just because there's a lot of human remains that get found down there. We have a lot of people who are familiar with that area and are good at searching. And so, again, just to be a force multiplier, extra set of eyes, ears, and hands and feet at this point, just to try to bring some closure to the Guthrie family. And, it makes it even harder when you see Savannah on TV all the time and knowing what she's going through. She's putting on a professional face, but behind her eyes, you can tell, she's still really.
She is putting on a professional face. Okay? She is. She was off the job for a while to be in Arizona. She went back to New York City. Obviously, she wanted to get back to work. She knew the investigation was going nowhere. She wanted to be with her husband, wanted to hug her kids, wanted to be in her home. I do not blame her for that. But this professional face thing, I really wish people would say it like it is. I'm going to do it, and I'm sure I'll get roasted for this later. She is a paid actor, okay? She has a script she reads from. She is told, this is what we're talking about today. Your opinion does not matter. You read that teleprompter, and when you see a light, you look towards this light. When you see another light, you look towards this light. That's exactly what you do. You read the words and you follow the lights. True story.
Suffering.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awful. As she says, she's in agony. Her whole family's in agony. Still very few answers about what has happened to Nancy Guthrie. But, in terms of what has been happening with the investigation, and clearly there's still no arrest for a suspect. We haven't heard much in terms of developments in this case. What do you think the Cajun Navy could do that the Sheriff's Department has either not done or still needs help with outside of what you just laid out? I mean, there's been a lot of conversation and disappointment, both from local law enforcement and from the FBI, about the way this investigation has been handled from the beginning. Allegedly leads not followed up on, not enough search even directly behind the house. Neighbors who say that, they believe that this is going nowhere as a result of the media no longer really being in the neighborhood and pressuring the Sheriff's Department. So what kind of hope can you give those who are looking for answers, and especially to Savannah and her family.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to frame it in the context of a juxtaposition of what we would do versus the sheriff's office, because we're not privy to everything that they've done or what they may not have done. But like I said, we're very good at search and rescue. We have a lot of resources we could have brought to the area, other partner groups that we work with in the area or willing to come to the area and help us search. I think early on, when we were closer to the abduction date, it would have been a lot more beneficial. At this point, I mean, I hate to say it, but at this point, you just be looking for remains, which would be valuable to the family to be able to have that closure. But that for some reason, they just decided they were not going to take the outside help. So we just kind of went back.
Well, I thought they did spectacular work in the Riley Strain case. That's another one. We have a playlist if you want to check it out. I still think it's pretty sketchy. I think it's kind of a cover up by Nashville Metro because, well, Nashville's a tourist town. Texas EquiSearch was told no. Cajun Navy was told no. And we know EquiSearch, I mean, we know that they have done some amazing work. We know that the case of little RJ Davis, the United Cajun Navy, not the Temu version that Seth Rogers was using, the actual United Cajun Navy found little RJ Davis. They certainly did. And the authorities in Caddo County in Oklahoma were more than happy to have their help. There's something going on, my friends. You think they're going to make a mess in the desert? What the hell is going on? This is the sheriff's circus that he's running. Nanos is the one telling them no. No, no. Well, they're not searching. The FBI is the one that forced themselves on the ransom notes to say, these are not true. No way, no how. So this sheriff has a lot of egg on his face. And I'm just wondering, who is the lead detective? Because I don't expect the sheriff to be a detective. No, everybody has a different position. Who is the lead detective? Does anyone know? Wouldn't that be the person to say yes or no, we need help? I say the more help, the merrier. But hey, who am I?
So what we're doing, we're preparing for hurricane season 2026. And right now we're at the tail end of tornado season 2026. So the Cajun Navy is doing Cajun Navy things.
So in terms of people who may be watching this who say, well, the sheriff's department they're law enforcement professionals. Who is this group, the Cajun Navy, who thinks that they should come in and be involved here? Can you talk about your professionalism and the type of training you have with your volunteers?
Yeah, we put a lot of resources into training our volunteers, but also you have to understand that a lot of the tier one volunteers that we use in operations like this mostly are either current or former law enforcement or combat veterans, people who have a lot of experience in high trauma situations, high pressure situations. So it's not just, like a guy taking a week off of work that normally sells insurance, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not down on people that sell insurance. I'm just saying that people that don't have any experience at all, that's not the kind of people we would bring to this operation. Everybody that we had lined up has experience doing this and has been successful in the past helping us recover missing persons. So we have a pretty good track record, we believe, for being a civilian nonprofit organization. We're proud of our track record of finding people both alive.
Okay, when they say nonprofit, it doesn't mean they don't take donations, all right? Obviously, the equipment costs money, fuel costs money, training the dogs costs money. So when they say nonprofit, it means they are donation only. I know some people got real confused about that during the Kylie Rodney case. There was one lady, and she kept screaming, they do it for free. And I'm like, no one does shit for free. They take donations, okay? They have a Schedule C form that they use, all right? And I hope people do donate to them because they do amazing work.
helping people that are no longer alive, but at least there's a recovery there.
Right.
And so we're always willing to help.
Thank you for watching.
I don't know why they always stick his face up at the end of everything saying, thank you for watching. Oh, nobody asked him. Yeah, when the headlines hit this morning from Reuters, I was like, yeah, this is not breaking news. Now I'm going to go back in time a little bit because I believe that Banfield was onto something. I believe that her connection in the FBI is definitely onto something. And I think around this time is when Nanos shut off all inside help.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. What's this? What's this?
Okay. Ashley Banfield, who now is wearing all kinds of different colors, not just beige, about 4.5 months ago, spoke to one of her contacts in the FBI. And yes, I believe 100% she had this conversation because she's not going to jeopardize her professional reputation. She's not going to jeopardize anything like that. She's not going to jeopardize getting shut down on YouTube, which would easily happen because Savannah has a lot of connections. And Savannah hasn't touched this. She does want her family left alone. I hate to tell her, nobody's after your family per se. Just something with your sister and your bubby-in-law look really off. And seeing how frail Nancy Guthrie is, or was, if you want to assume she has passed away, I hate to say that, it could have been a very heated argument when they were having their Stouffer's lasagna and playing games. Because they have asked her for money for many years. Now I go back to what Ilyanka said last week. She could have easily, at the age of 84, the ripe old age of 84, passed away naturally from anything. A spider bite, stress, having an argument with her daughter and son-in-law over money, anything.
I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is.
And then it's all covered up. And then she's been kidnapped.
Drop dead serious. I have some breaking information on the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother in Tucson, Arizona. I have spoken with a impeccable law enforcement source who has informed me.
Johnny says men love women in flannel shirts. I have on flannel panties. How does that work for you? And speaking of what men love, today is Wednesday, and are you wearing your pink? Have you said hi to Mike? Nope, because I've changed it up today.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
It is hump day. Ilyanka said that I'm the hottest chick ever. Ooh. So are we wearing our pink today, or are we wearing our flannel? I'm going to say pink.
It's adorable. It's so fetch. What is fetch? Oh, it's like slang from England. So if you're from Africa, why are you white? Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white. Could you give us some privacy for like 1 second? Yeah, sure. Okay, you should just know that we don't do this a lot, so this is like a really huge deal. We want to invite you to have lunch with us every day for the rest of the week. Oh, it's okay. Cool, miss. So we'll see you tomorrow. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Oh my God.
I got pink toenails. I do. I got pink toenails. And actually, I got on pink panties. You know why? Because they were red and I didn't put color safe bleach into the laundry. So go me.
With his knowledge of the investigation, of some extraordinarily serious pieces of information about this crime scene, I can tell you that Mrs. Guthrie had cameras, plural, at this home, and that they were smashed. You may have heard Brian Enton from News Nation talking earlier and asking.
Okay. Remind you, remind me, remind everybody. Hello, Paper Cut. Hello. He is our new moderator. Yes, that is right. He is the only moderator that everybody has every right to abuse because, well, he's a man and he can take it. So can everyone please welcome Paper Cut to the Mod Squad. So this was months ago that Ashley Banfield put this out. Talked about the cameras, talked about the cars. It all came out later. She was 100% telling the truth. It can be nothing but the truth. She's not that good of a guesser. And if she's that good of a liar, she needs to be writing novels. I'm talking Stephen King shit.
Sheriff Chris Nanos a question in the news conference. And again, today I'm recording on February the 3rd. It's a Tuesday. The press conference that was early in the day, Brian asked the sheriff, the camera on the front of the house is missing. And the sheriff said, we are trying to get into the companies that, you know, are proprietors of this kind of cloud information to get that.
Okay, another typo. Remember about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, I called him paper slut. Now, Ilyanka got her own autocorrect that says, hi, paper slug. Welcome to Crime, Lines, and Lesbians. Well, I will say he is a true lesbian, okay? And paper slug it is for now.
And said by today, he did not have that information, did not have whatever was recorded. But I can tell you they are Nest cameras. They are Nest cameras, plural, and that whoever did this may have smashed those cameras, plural. So they're not there, presumably because law enforcement took those smashed cameras as evidence.
If anybody's going to grab the link, now's a good time before Aunt Sherry gets up and grabs a beer. Okay? So, Paper Slug, Ilyanka, whoever, if you want to grab the link, come on up because Sherry will be getting up in a minute and you know what happens there.
I can also tell you I've got information about which door in the house was actually left open. There's been some erroneous reporting about some things. I now have the information about that. I can tell you about blood in the house. I can confirm. Brian Enton has some incredible reporting and pictures of blood outside the house. He's going to join me in a moment. We're going to talk about that.
Okay. I'm not surprised there was blood in the house. I am not surprised that there was blood outside the house. I am not surprised there was blood in her car. I'm not surprised by any of it. You know why? Because her skin looked as thin as wet Kleenex. She had Band-Aids all over her. This is not a surprise. Tina is going to the shower. Can everybody say congratulations to Tina for washing her ass? Thank you, Tina, for sharing that with us. Enjoy your shower, Tina.
I can also tell you whose car has been towed into evidence. And I can tell you that there is a family member who is being heavily looked at right now as a potential suspect. I'm going to bring that all to you in a moment. There's more information about Nancy's pacemaker. You probably have heard up until now that Nancy Guthrie had a pacemaker and it disconnected from her Apple devices, her Apple Watch, her Apple phone, which were left in the home at about 2:00 in the morning. And that is a significant time. And I will tell you why, that it is extraordinarily instructive
Okay, let's go to something real quick.
to narrow down the investigative window.
What am I looking for? Hold on. Brooks is not doing good today. Okay. Yes, there is a card in the window from Adult Protective Services. Yeah, you get the point. There was a doctor on another panel. I don't know who this person is. And they said that looks like a sneeze splatter. And considering she takes all those blood thinners, a bloody nose is very common. Where is Angel P? I've got too many questions about blood. She might be busy or in the shower with Tina.
And I will tell you why, that it is extraordinarily instructive to this investigation in terms of narrowing to a window. I'll explain why in a moment. Don't think that the pacemaker stopped working because she died. That's not it. The separation of Bluetooth between the things that the pacemaker was linked to, the Apple Watch and the phone. When they get out of range, you take your AirPods, you walk out, you leave an air tag behind, you get a notice, you're disconnected. That's more what this is about, but the timing of it is specific to narrow down the investigative window. So I'm going to get into all the details of all of these little pieces of information that I told you, because I've just touched the tip of the iceberg, but I also want to get you up to speed on all the information that came out today, from a few different sources. Number one, from the sheriff himself, who held a news conference and answered questions. And then also from Brian Enton, because he got some great information. And as I mentioned, he's going to be up in just a moment with me. We're going to talk about all his findings. So John Edwards is the assistant special agent in charge of the FBI in Tucson. He joined Sheriff Chris Nanos for the news conference today. Again, it's February 3rd, Tuesday. They held this update, but they didn't give a lot of information. They just said, basically, this is to answer your questions in the press. And I can tell you that we found out this is not a gated community. Okay, that was one report that came out. It's not a gated community. It's also very dark and there are no streetlights. So very hard to see anything that might have been driving up and down those roads. The properties are huge, right? They're anywhere between 1 and 4 acres each. So more rural.
Someone's knocking at the door. Well, if it's not our own nurse on demand, Angel P, can everybody please?
Somebody's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell.
Woo! And we're getting a song too. Ooh, sing it. Okay, explain how warfarin works. And no, she's not a doctor and we're not giving medical advice. She is a nurse.
Well, basically, it's just a blood thinner. You know, it's one of the older traditional blood thinners. There's different things nowadays like Eliquis and other things that people take. Warfarin, also known as Coumadin, people used to have to go to the Coumadin clinic. They don't necessarily have to do that now, but what they do have to do is they have to monitor your blood count and different things when you're on Coumadin. So you do have to have a blood draw every so often, like you were talking about. I think earlier in the show, you talked about a PT-INR, which is how fast your blood clots. They measure that. So let's say you're taking 10 milligrams of Coumadin or warfarin, and your blood is taking too long to clot, then they're going to decrease that for, and this is just a hypothetical example, of 5 milligrams.
Okay.
And it does make your...
We were moving dosages around based on her blood work, which she was having done like every 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, elderly people, their skin is so fragile. It's like crepe paper. It's everybody knows it bruises easily. You can get a blood draw, an IV. You can barely hit your hand on the door or something, and you'll have this god awful bruise. Some medications cause that kind of thing too. Like I had said previously, the back of my dad's hand was not that bad, but it got worse. So you have to be very careful when you take care of elderly people because they can get what you call skin tears very easily.
Mhm.
And the skin literally tears like crepe paper. And then you have to heal that with like a Vaseline gauze and keep it wrapped up.
Grandma Green used to tear her skin all the time, and she passed away at roughly around Nancy Guthrie's age. Now, when they were talking about blood inside the house and then the blood outside, and this medical doctor gave his opinion and made it clear that he is not her treating physician. He said that looks like a sneeze splatter from her
Right.
Coumadin not being adjusted correctly.
Well, I was so convinced from the very moment this case started that she had a skin tear that did that. Skin tear. But I reckon what they've done, if they've tested something, I think, and they have found that there was saliva in there too, is the only way I can explain it, was what I had heard from another doctor.
Hence why he said this came from her nose.
Yes, because, either snot or saliva, something like that.
I'm still going back. Ilyanka, I mean, she was putting down facts last week. She said, I think she died of natural causes. And now they're making this big hoax, whether it's for ratings or money.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I also started thinking about, you don't want to sound crazy or feel crazy looking at this case because it is crazy. But anyway, I also wonder if somebody was needing money without saying the two names, and they kind of rushed that process a little bit.
Well, Nanos is doing everything he can to evade the elephant in the room. Hence why he sent the DNA, which should have been back very quickly, to a lab in Florida. Yes, it's now been sent to Quantico.
Mm-hmm.
However, time is not of the essence anymore. It's not the first 48 hours.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just me. I guess it's just me. But like if I was Savannah in a place of financial security and everybody knowing who she is, and I don't know that this isn't happening, but behind the scenes, I would be raising Cain with that sheriff. And that's why I wonder if that's why they're not talking anymore. I don't know.
Or she is more scared of her reputation being, if her sister and brother-in-law have something to do with it. And again, this is from months ago. By the way, thank you so much for clearing that up for us.
You're welcome.
It makes a lot more sense. If it's saliva and blood, and mind you, it's on rock, so it sets in.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have any plans to have anyone clean the rock for, some time because it wasn't summertime yet.
Right.
And they basically have to sandblast it is what they do. And I don't think it was fresh at all.
Well, the reason I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
One thing that really gets my goat or that makes me extremely curious is, after this happened, you can see on that doorway right there, there's an Adult Protective Services card right above the doorbell or whatever that is. It makes you wonder what was going on, that somebody may have made a referral to Adult Protective Services, because after you make the referral is when they come out to visit. That's just a weird thing to me that card happens to be there. And I wonder if there was something going on before that's happened, and that's why APS got contacted.
And who made the referral?
Right.
Well, and they said the card was put on there after the fact. Okay. Adult Protective Services are not going to be involved with a missing elderly woman. No. I think the referral was made the week before and they showed up on a Monday, and I don't know what the hell, because that's when it was put on there. I mean, they honestly didn't leave their card thinking that Nancy was going to come back home and get the card and call them.
But that just kind of makes me feel more suspicious of her caregivers, if you get where I'm going, allegedly, in my opinion.
Everything's alleged, baby.
Yeah.
Everything's alleged. Jules put her foot down in the Tucson sand. She said, I stopped watching the Day Show. I don't like Savannah Guthrie. Well, I'm going to let her know. I'm going to let her know, Jules.
Lit up, neighbor to neighbor sees everything. Your ring cam can see the street. It's not like that. Not everybody's ring cam can actually see the street from where they are on these big properties. The sheriff today said Nancy Guthrie's life is in jeopardy. Could be a couple reasons he said that. Number one, medications were left behind in the home. Medications that she would need within 24 hours could be fatal. And it's now 72 hours since the last time she was seen.
Okay, now remember, this was months and months and months ago. Ooh, Stacy, thank you so much for the super sticker. And she's making it rain. Woo! Never thought I'd say this, but in Oklahoma, we need some rain, and I've been bitching about the rain for a month. Paper Slug said, oh yeah, that would make sense. Someone made the referral a week before. I have dealt with Adult Protective Services before, and I will tell you, they are slower than a paper slug. They are not on an emergency basis. Okay.
Right.
It took a good 10 days to get him out to see my in-laws.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to call them more than once. You know, it's just like, you know, that had to happen before all this happened. And so that's actually, I don't want to bring up another channel. I'm really sorry, but I had asked a question in the interview room the other night.
Yeah.
And I said, what are your thoughts on the Adult Protective Services card? Well, I just put APS. And Chris said something to the effect of, yeah, that's very interesting, isn't it? So I feel like, you know, there's more to it than what we've been told.
Well, APS doesn't just show up, just like CPS doesn't just show up. Okay.
Mhm.
They're social workers. Obviously, they're dealing with the difference between closer to the cradle and closer to the grave. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so for her, like Paper Slug said, she just didn't read the room, but she made sure to do her due diligence and be like, oh, I went to check on her and I left my card, but I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Probably afraid they're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because it takes a long, long time to get them involved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm telling you that from personal experience.
So that could be why he said her life's in jeopardy. Or he could have said it because I now have definitive sourced information saying that there was, in fact, blood inside and outside the home. So blood inside the home is scary because we now know she was taken against her will. Kidnapped was what the sheriff told me last night when I did my episode before. So blood inside the home, kidnapped forcefully, taken forcefully. That could probably be part of the reason why her life is in jeopardy. And Brian Enton's going to show you the pictures of the blood outside the home that he discovered today as well. The media has helped generate a lot of leads, the sheriff said. That's really important. He said, if you've got any information, 1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you know anything, even if it's tiny, the tiniest thing can lead to the biggest.
You know what hacks me off?
What's that?
Is that Google and many other YouTube channels. I mean, channels that are 100 times bigger and better than me. They always cut off that picture of her holding her cane with that big bruising. It could be from medication. It can be from her warfarin. It can be from anything.
Right.
It's almost like they want you to believe that she's healthier than what she is. And there's no way.
Right. Or it could have been embarrassing, you know. I would be a little bit embarrassed if my skin was like that. I'm just saying me. I'm not saying she was. Um, you know, I agree with you.
Embarrassing for her. She was on national television
Mm-hmm.
holding
That's
that.
true.
Obviously it wasn't to her. A year ago it wasn't a problem, but they have been cropping that photo.
Oh, I gotcha.
Well, Big T, good morning.
Thing. Sheriff has said it's been helpful. They do not know what she was wearing when she was abducted, when she was kidnapped and taken from that home. They don't know if there were one or more kidnappers. Any indications she's still alive? Sheriff said, no idea. Can't tell you that. Is there a threat to the public? We were a little confused by the answer before. I think what he was trying to say was that we feel like this is an unusual circumstance. We don't think that this is going to be a serial kidnapping or whatever else is.
Okay, this is what the doctor was talking about. He said that is not from her being forcefully removed, because there would be a lot of blood. As you said, their skin is like crepe paper as we get older. Not just me, free. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to Ange. It's going to happen to Paper Slug. It's going to happen to Stacy. That is what happens as we get older. Our bones get more brittle. Our skin gets thinner. Our energy gets brighter. That's what happens. But he is not part of a crime. This is basically a sneeze.
Well, the other thing, now that I look at it really up close, I'm enlarging the screen. You can see how there's like a dark ring around the outside of each circle. Do you see that?
Yes, I do. What does that mean?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just wondering if that's how they were able to tell that there was saliva or snot or something in there. You know what I mean? Because of the way, because why is it just dried on the outside? And I mean, it's dried on the inside too, but there's obviously a big ring, and I don't want to be gross, but I mean, if you've ever sneezed or spit somewhere, then you know it just kind of clings to that spot.
Yeah, but he said these are just total blood droplets. That's why he made the assumption, uneducated medical opinion, that this is basically a sneeze and it came from her nose. He said these are technically blood droplets. Same thing because of the rings. Look at you, Ange. Are you taking your MCAT soon?
No.
Medicine woman. No, that's true. Now you're ringing my bell.
Oh, you know.
Happened to Mrs. Guthrie, but there's someone out there that did this. So yeah, the threat is out there. He's not going to go as far as they did in Idaho early on and say there's no threat to the public, because Brian Koberger was out there for, over 6 weeks and he's a threat to the public, but it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like there was no threat. It didn't feel like there was a big threat. So take that the way you will. Were there any valuables taken, ATM cards? Sheriff would not say. Sheriff wouldn't say, was there forced entry? I can tell you definitively, there was absolutely forced entry. The pacemaker information, they didn't want to talk a lot about it, but I will tell you, my reporting, my source says that the 2 a.m. separation, when the pacemaker stopped responding to the devices it was connected to, the Apple phone, the Apple Watch, that is the time they are narrowing down this kidnapping to. Yes, she was last seen at 9:45, but the kidnapping, they are pegging it to that moment.
Okay, I want to talk about the 9:45 p.m. going home.
How do we really know that, though? Because that's according to the two, is it not?
Everything is based on what Annie and Beard have said. Now, listen, if you're in your 20s or 30s, you might start your night at 9:45 if you're going clubbing. Okay. A woman at the age of 84 eats dinner at 3 p.m. and 9:45 feels like, that's deep sleep right there.
Right. I mean, my people wouldn't have been out and about at that time of night. That's just, how it is sometimes. Usually older people either stay up really late and sleep late or go to bed really early and get up early, in my experience.
And
But
she
that
was
seems really late, doesn't it?
well, and she was always a very, very early riser because especially when she knew she had her church service the next morning, because her and her girlfriends would get together to watch Savannah's church.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can I throw something else out here?
You better, girl. I just want to say hello, hello, hello. V. Oakley is in the bushes. By the way, if you're in the bushes, come out and say hi or hit the like. You go ahead, girlfriend.
I forgot my brilliant thought. We'll have to wait till it comes back.
Did I mess up your brilliance?
You did. I had a genius thought, but now I can't think of it no more, if that tells you anything.
Yep, here comes Carrie. She did this yesterday. She came out, she waved, and she goes, now I'm going back to the bushes. Made
Aw.
me chuckle till I about tinkled.
Because that is when the pacemaker that's inside the girl, the woman, the elderly mother who was taken out of that house, it's separated. And so that is what they are now narrowing the disappearance time down to, according to my law enforcement source with knowledge of this investigation. Pacemaker separates 2 a.m. That's when they believe.
Hold on. What? OG Nanny?
Oh, no.
Son was attacked by 2 dogs, had to be taken by ambulance to the hospital. Oh, yeah, he needs prayers. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
Send me an email, please. Oh, I can't with that. I
I
can't.
know.
Irresponsible pet owners.
Mhm.
I just can't. And everyone has seen OJ beat my ass. Everyone, please, prayers up.
That's so disturbing. I'm so very sorry.
I am too. I am too.
I
Oh,
thought of
gee,
my genius thought.
go ahead, baby.
Okay, so not to be talking about the same person and the same show over again, but the wife was an investigative journalist. Okay, so
Are you talking
it's
about his wife, Karen?
yes.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
So this'll for people that didn't see it though. This is like weird. So Karen tried to get an interview with the ladies that she would watch the church service with.
Mhm.
Nobody would talk to her.
I wonder why.
That's crazy.
I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because, I mean, there is absolutely nothing threatening about Karen McDonough. She's one of the coolest people.
One of them said, I'm not talking about her anymore. I'm glad that you have a heart for keeping her name out in the public. So what's the opposite of that? That's what Hollywood's doing.
Yep. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. People keep thinking that he wants this to go away.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want it to go away because he is currently, as we speak, he talks to People magazine more than he does his local media.
Right.
A boxer and a Great Dane attacked his son. I don't know anything about those breeds. Well, I hope they have homeowners insurance. And if you want, I'll do a whole show about it and I will help you go through all of it. He's got stitches in his back, and you can't even lay down.
Oh my God. Yes. That is a great civil suit. I'm sorry, but it really is. That would piss me off. Oh my God.
I know. I mean, not to be a hypocrite, I've still got my next door neighbor. Hold on. The FedEx man pulled in, got the dogs off him, and called 911. he was with his other grandma.
Thank you so much, FedEx. Goodness gracious.
Thank you, FedEx man. You never know. It's not the breed, it's the owner.
The actual kidnapping happened. The house was turned back over to the family yesterday after 6 p.m. Again, that would be Monday, February 2nd. They processed everything. Crime scene tape went up, done with the residents, turned back over to the family, but nobody washed the blood off the front steps up to the front door. And Brian Enton was able to go up and look at it because it's not a crime scene anymore. You're going to talk to Brian in a moment about that. I think I mentioned this before, but if I didn't, they are waiting for the camera information and very frustrated. Police are very frustrated by how long it's taking to get the Nest company. I learned that it is the Nest company. It's not Ring Cams, it's not Ring.com. It's Nest cameras that were out front that were smashed. They are waiting for the corporate Nest executives to yield that information back to the sheriffs. Listen, 72 hours. It's been a long time. I can understand why the sheriff would be frustrated that it's taking this long. This was at, again, 1:30 today. It's about 7 hours ago. So that might have happened in the last 7 hours. Maybe the sheriff has that camera information now. And with those cameras being smashed, right? That's evidence. All of that is evidence, right? What was the tool used to smash them? What did it look like? All of that. And so when Brian Enton asked the sheriff, the cameras are missing, and the sheriff wouldn't go there. Clearly, the police have taken those cameras, smashed as evidence, and those are now in evidence lockup as part of this investigation. But again, I can't reiterate enough how dark this area is. No street lights, dark and rural, expensive and stressful air travel, gas, food. Brian also learned about forced entry into the house, and he learned of the 2 alleged ransom notes. We're going to talk at length about that. One went to TMZ, one went to a local TV station in Tucson. We have thoughts. Lots of people have thoughts. The sheriff has some thoughts, apparently. But I'll talk to Brian about that in a moment, and I will read for you what those are. I'm also going to tell you this.
The sheriff has no thoughts. No thoughts. He is a sheriff. He is a political official. He is not a hired sheriff. He was elected.
Unfortunately.
Deanne Fabro, she said, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Not her name, but it.
Yes.
She refers to her friend as an it.
Yeah.
Wow. Good catch, Deanne.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That actually puts things in a totally different context. And OG Nanny, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. My goodness. Feel like I'm dripping in diamonds today. And it. I'm not talking about it anymore.
That the sheriff was concerned enough that he put out a statement with a QR code. Okay. Let me read this. Sheriff said, we are aware of reports circulating about possible ransom notes, plural. It's ransom note, parentheses S, so a note or notes, regarding the investigation into Nancy Guthrie. We are taking all tips and leads very seriously. Anything that comes in goes directly to our detectives who are coordinating with the FBI. We encourage anyone who may have information, any information or tips to share via this QR code. So he answered the question too during the press conference when he was asked about, were there ransom notes? Has anybody reached out to Savannah Guthrie or her family? Who takes an 84-year-old woman? What's the point? It would seem like they'd want something. And he didn't say no. He just said the same thing that you just heard. We're looking at all leads. So they may have looked at the TMZ lead right before that press conference and they weren't ready to say whether they thought it was legit or just some hoaxer. And maybe the Tucson TV station got one as well. I was a scam artist born every day. So, by the way, very illegal, very traceable. We'll get to that. Okay. Savannah put out a post today, and the Today Show, obviously this is their colleague. I'm a colleague of Savannah's. I worked with Savannah for years. We've been friends for years. We've done charity events together. She's dear, you know, she's very dear to me, and it's breaking my heart that she is down there where she grew up in Tucson, trying to find her mom. And she gave the Today Show a statement about where they stand at this point. This is how the Today Show aired it.
Chanel is in for Savannah once again, who remains with her family in Arizona.
Good morning. And that is where we begin this morning. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother, and a beloved part of our Today family. Authorities in Arizona now saying the 84-year-old appears to be the victim of an abduction.
Overnight, Savannah posting this image on Instagram. Please pray. She went on to write, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison."
I'm going to go ahead and say she is not exactly a beloved member of their family, okay? She is so unbeloved that page 6, hi Bruno, page 6, New York Times, flat out said that people on the Today Show staff have said when she was gone, they didn't feel the stress in the air any longer. We know she had that big shit fit when she went and had her throat surgery, vocal cord surgery. And when she found out that the ratings were higher without her, she got mad. And she said, "You're going to have to do a special segment just for my throat surgery." No. I'd read into that a little bit.
In love, in hope, we believe in goodness. We believe in humanity. Above all, we believe in him.
She added, "Thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant. Raise your prayers with us and believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment." She goes on to say, "We need you. Bring her home."
And obviously, Savannah's not on the Today Show. She wasn't on yesterday either. And she will not be going to Italy to do the Winter Olympics. This is huge for Savannah. This is every 4 years. It is one of the biggest assignments. The amount of prep that it takes to do the Olympics, it's weeks and weeks and weeks of work. Okay. And as far as the TMZ ransom note, my source says that they don't believe that this is real. They think it's just troublemakers trying to insert themselves into this story. Could that change? Yes. I just want to give you a little bit of information on Thomas Ossioni, Annie Guthrie's husband, whom at this point, I am told again, may be a prime suspect in this case. He's 50, from Tucson. His bio from a website that's an Italian.
Okay. If there is a kidnapper or somebody was staging a kidnapping, you can tell the person that was on the porch has a little bit of, what do you call it? You know, that little piece of hair on your chin. Well, that would be his bandmate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying now.
And from the angle of the camera, you can't exactly tell how tall someone is.
Boy, that guy on the left, wow. As far as porch guy.
As far as porch guy, yeah. Let's see if I can find a picture and I can blow it up. Hang on.
Yeah, goatee, right?
Is it called a goatee? I mean, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know. It's just called hair under his lip, I reckon.
I guess so. I guess that way. But he had that flashlight in his mouth, and you can clearly see through the mask. There is like a little patch of hair.
Website, an official Italian website for the Taparulin Society, Cultural Association, the Taparulan Cultural Association, a nonprofit focused on promoting contemporary artists. His bio says, I was born in San Giovanni, Valderno on June 18th, 1975. Since 2006, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona. I write when I have the chance. I study lizards. I play the electric bass. I make homemade pasta. LinkedIn reports that Thomas Sioni is a teacher at Basis Oro Valley School from 2007 until present. Says he's a primary instructor for 6th grade science and AP biology. Reverb Nation, that's a music website, says that he put out an album with a 3-man music group called Early Black. Music is apparently available, but that's all I know about Annie Guthrie's husband, who, again, one law enforcement.
Sorry, I think she's right. I'm not saying that she's right, that Tomas did this. Bearded Wonder, wannabe rock star, or Soul Patch. But I do believe that at one point he was the prime suspect. And I do believe that with the pull certain people have, they could cover this up to, let's say, save a certain reputation.
Right.
Paper Cut said the latest one had the experts saying the suspect may be attempting to avoid death penalty. In Arizona? Arizona hasn't used the death penalty in probably 50 years. Oh my goodness. They're avoiding something. Hello, Duck Lady. The death penalty. In Arizona? Come on. I get it in Texas. I get it in Alabama. I get it in Florida. I get it in Oklahoma. Hell, I'd run like the Dickens too if I got into something like this. Even self-defense, I'd be scared to death. I mean, not that I would. I couldn't beat myself out of a wet paper sack. Hell, you saw my face yesterday. I can't even beat a damn wasp off.
Stores, very connected, highly regarded, impeccable credentials, knowledge of this investigation, says that Tommaso Sioni, Annie P. Guthrie's husband, may be the prime suspect in this case, and Annie's vehicle has been towed, impounded, and is now in evidence. Very distressing. So Brian Enton is with me from News Nation. He's been doing some incredible work since landing on the ground in Tucson. Brian, you have done, again, some outstanding reporting out in front of Nancy Guthrie's home. When the crime scene was turned over to the family, you found a blood trail.
Yeah, we did. And I was kind of surprised, Ashley, that it was not a crime scene anymore. I don't know why I just expected that they would still have some tape outside.
They did take the crime scene down really quick, and Dr. Drew and the other doctor, I cannot remember his name, basically said that is not a blood trail.
Well, what do you think it is then?
No, Brian Enton don't know.
Yeah, I love him.
I know.
I'm sorry. I just love him. Not like in a romantic way, but like a son way. I just think he's the sweetest thing ever.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He really is. Oh, News Daddy. And
yes.
You know, you can love him all day. He's not going to reciprocate. Okay.
I know.
All right. True Crime Beat tried that in the family bathroom at the Gaylord Hotel in Nashville. Yeah, it didn't work. Oh, here we go. Jules too. Oh yeah, Jules is. I'm telling you what, she followed him around.
I'm older and I've got more experience. Oh,
You're
my God. Can't believe I said that.
Tell you what, you girls are going to turn him straight. Now, what am I going to do? Let's make a bet right now. Put a 1 in chat. If you think these ladies can turn him straight, and put a 2 in saying, oh, no. Ilyanka's already on board. My goodness. I could just see Ange walking up to him going, I'll make you straight.
When you cover these things, they'll have like one police car that stays behind. Everybody left. I mean, it was just empty, except there were some, what I thought were family members coming and going today. I don't know who they were. So we decided, like, let's just go knock on the door and see if anybody is home, just to kind of see what's going on, since it's not a crime scene. It's all opened back up. And so walking up to the front door, you could see that there was blood right outside the front door on the ground, like on the stoop right there, right near the front mat going in. Just, not a ton of blood, but it was definitely blood. It was all right there. And then when you looked up, you could see where the camera was right by like.
All right now, Duck Lady.
Jules, are you listening to this? Are you seeing this? And challenge accepted. Duck Lady said, I'm older than you, Ange, and I have more experience.
Yeah,
Woo!
by like 2 months.
Woo! Boy, you girls got the moves. I got
Almost like where it looked like a doorbell, but it was a camera, and the camera was gone.
Well, and my information from my source is that those cameras were smashed, not just the front one. There was a second one. Whoever did this knew there were two, smashed them. So presumably the fact that you saw that they're gone means that the police took them for evidence.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, though, is when I asked the sheriff, I was at the press conference, and I asked the sheriff, we noticed that the camera is gone in the front. Do you think the perpetrator took the camera? He said, we noticed that too, and all of that is under investigation. So it was kind of strange. Like, he didn't give me an answer. Like, was it the perpetrator who took the camera? Was it the police who took the camera? But he acknowledged that they also noticed that the camera was gone.
I think he's having to answer in real time to, investigative information and evidence that he doesn't want out there, probably. And having to, tap dance in front of live cameras, which is really hard. I mean, this is a small place. Tucson has barely had, massive crime. I think one of the biggest things was Gabby Giffords, like, 15, 20 years ago. So,
yeah, a long time ago. Kelly is in on the bet, too. He's a silver fox. What am I going to do with you ladies?
I don't know, but Junebug's talking about how younger ladies have more energy. And I hate to say it, but, my man's a lot younger than me. So, ta-da!
And he can't keep up with you, can he, horn whistle? Now, let me tell you what. Old Banfield was obviously onto something. Because she got 2.5 million views on this. And it's never been refuted. It's never been taken down.
This is a lot. This is a big crime for them to process, and the media attention is sort of stifling. It's really, really hard. Let's just talk a little bit about that blood trail a little bit before we go more into the cameras. But you find the blood trail at the front door. The front door is closed. At least it is now. My law enforcement source has told me the back door was wide open, which sort of gives you just so many questions. Is that where the perpetrator came in? Is that where the perpetrator went out with Mrs. Guthrie? Did Mrs. Guthrie answer the front door at 2 a.m. and there was a pitched fight and that's why the blood is there?
Did Mrs. Guthrie even go home that night?
Mm-hmm.
Or did somebody go to her house? Let's look at the picture of her again. I'm sure I can find it. You're not telling me that she got in that garage that quick?
2
minutes?
No, that's not enough time. Takes me longer than that.
So you're telling me that she opened up the garage door and then it shut immediately. However, they took her car. They seized her car to go through it. No, she doesn't do shit in 2 minutes.
The other interesting thing that makes this even more curious is, after they closed the crime scene and after they opened it back up and then after they closed it again and the FBI came in there, I think you remember that group of people that were all like in suits and so on that showed up. There was, 4 or 5 of them that showed up. You got that blood on the front porch. Well, apparently there's some kind of trail if you turn to the right and go down. Yeah, that's what they were following. So it's very confusing.
She has a cane everywhere she goes. She hasn't driven in, they don't even know how long it's been. She takes Ubers everywhere because she likes her independence. And they're like, the garage door opened at 9, I'm just making up a time, 47, and then closed at 9:49. It would take her 2 effing minutes to get out of the car.
Right. That's a slick in and out move. You know what I mean? That's not somebody trying to get out of the car and, dear God, I get my pocketbook, my sunglasses, my drink, the dog. It takes me forever.
Yeah. And she's not a hurried person, if you know what I mean. You can't hurry her. Hello, Carrie Clark. No. 2 minutes, garage door went up, garage door went down. But they're not saying.
Right before she got gone, that's a horrible thing to say. I cannot believe I said that. And you know who that reminds me of? Right before she disappeared, too, you know, her big thing was wanting to walk to the mailbox, okay? And apparently, sometimes she even required assistance to walk to the mailbox. So as far as mobility goes, there's no way that 2 minutes makes any sense.
No. I can walk to the mailbox right now. Time me. See how long it takes. I get out there, I'll start talking to neighbors and asking them what was. But I'm a different critter. Okay, just take me out of that scenario.
I think you mentioned the blood doesn't go further out along the stones to the driveway.
Yeah, that's right. We looked and it was just in that area near the door. It's not like there were droplets that went out to where the driveway is or even in the driveway, which made me think, I mean, did they take Miss Guthrie out the front? And like you said, the back door being open, maybe they came in the back and took her out the front and into a car. And maybe that's why the blood just stopped right there. We just don't know.
I will tell you this, in my half-hour-long conversation with the sheriff last night, I said, so you think that perhaps when you say Mrs. Guthrie was taken out of that home, she did not walk out of that home, are you telling me she was carried over the threshold of the front door? And he said, I did not say the front door. So that was a clue to me. Wait, okay, not the front door. And then I learned today that the back door is open. So I am very curious. There were some erroneous reports about Mrs. Guthrie was dragged from her bed. The sheriff actually put out a statement saying that is not what I said. So we, at this point, the sheriff was walking back anybody who reported she was dragged from her bed. We don't know if the bedroom was, the epicenter of this crime yet. We don't know if there's ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, and Mrs. Guthrie comes down at 2 a.m. What's going on? And something happens at the front. But why then would the back door be wide open? It's very, very confounding. Why would the blood be in the front, but the back door is open? Or did they, like you said, come in the back door, go up to the bedroom, but then take her out the front?
Yeah, and I'm just looking behind me because there's more cars in the driveway now. Step out of the way. You see that white Volvo, and then there's a truck. I think they've maybe brought security people in to just kind of keep an eye on the house. But one thing that you don't know until you're here, I didn't realize, is this isn't like a normal neighborhood, Ashley. It's right in the foothills. Every house, I would say, is on at least an acre, maybe 2, 3, or 4 acres. They're almost like little ranches. And it's pitch. I mean, we've got our lights on for, because we're doing our camera work, but it's pitch black out here. There is not one light out here. And it's a ways to the next house. So I'm just thinking if they came in through the back door, to take her out the back door, though, it's not like there'd be a little alley back there. I mean, there's like cactus. This is not, it's like kind of wild land out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But whoever smashed the cameras maybe thought it would be an easier way to get in the back door to smash a camera without being seen, go in the back, and then maybe smash the front camera from the inside of the house coming out. Who knows? I mean, but whoever it was, my law enforcement source said they knew there were those cameras and where they were in order to smash them. We're getting to that in a bit, but
okay. And Reuters said yesterday, whoever abducted Nancy Guthrie is known to her and to the area. They know the house. They know her. They know it all. Now,
go ahead.
I'm going back to what Nicey, I put it on the Nicey Marie put.
Mhm.
Nancy said it happened. He slipped and he said Saturday night. He damn sure did. He said January 31st. Then they changed it to February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't think he knows what he's doing, for one thing. He's winging it. Because I don't think he's ever been in charge of anything like this before. And he shouldn't be in charge of what he's in charge of now, considering his past and things he hid from other police departments.
Damn right.
You know, one thing I've always been curious about with those doors propped open too is that, and this is just because of my experience, but I always wondered, you know, she had a walker, and frequently in home health care or hospice, if people had a walker, they also had a wheelchair for longer, you know, if you needed it for a longer distance or something. So I'd always wondered, oh, did she have a wheelchair that they rolled her out in? I don't know.
I don't know anything about a wheelchair. I know she had a walker and she had a cane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying she's never been in a wheelchair, but as far as being something that she used on the daily, I've never heard that.
Right.
And I'm just telling you, this is a hoax. It is a hoax. It is a hoax. It is a hoax. And if it's not, I will eat the crow. You guys can throw mud at me. Hell, you can shit in a ball pit and throw it at me. This is not anything what they're trying to sell you. There's a big difference between someone's narrative and the absolute truth. And I'm telling you, you find one lie in these cases, you have barely scratched the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Helicopters overhead while you were doing your live shot earlier today. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, there was a sheriff helicopter that got very, very low over the house with two men looking out and down. And my first thought was like, oh, sometimes they'll just kind of come by to come look real quick and then they'll leave. But they stayed for over an hour over the house and then across the street. And then in like kind of, again, it's almost like fields out here, but with a lot of cactuses.
Paper Slug. I'm loving the new names. By the way, I think we're going to have a contest. I want to have a thumbnail contest in how to manipulate Paper Cut's name. Where do you think she would be? Oh, easy. Easy. I think whatever happened on Saturday, I think she got moved. I don't know what vehicle. If it was Annie's, that would be easy to figure out. If it was hers, that would be easy to figure out. So I don't know that part. It's a straight shot down in Nogales, Arizona, and then boop, right across the border. And they have zero jurisdiction there.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing a big dig in Mexico recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the city of Tucson, which is very close to this jurisdiction, obviously. People over there, according to an interview, I haven't heard much about it, and there's no talk going on about it. They have some kind of special team that responds to things like this. I don't know what it's called, but they weren't even asked to help. I mean, there's just too much stuff on the down low to make any sense to me.
They've been turning away help. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Mm-mm.
And I've been saying for 5 months now, well, 5 months ago, I assumed it was a silver alert and they just couldn't find her. Like she got confused and didn't know where she was or something. Okay, so let's say 4.5 months ago. Okay. So I don't get beat up about this later. Bricks, you didn't say that 5 months ago. 5 months ago, you were talking about football. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Anyway, I said, they're 60 miles from the border.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Tucson. I've been to Nogales. I've been there. It's a port of entry. It's very easy for an American to get through there.
Right.
Not easy to come from Mexico. Very easy to go in.
Mm-hmm.
In the vicinity of the house, very low, looking around. And then we saw a search and rescue truck out here, which we hadn't seen all day. So I don't know if there was kind of like, hey, we left some stone unturned and we just want to go back out and look one more time, or if there was a specific tip that came in, something specific that they were looking for. But it was very clear that they were looking for something. Because again, at first I thought like, oh, the helicopter's doing a pass. You know, the sheriff's office just wants to show that they're keeping an eye on the area. But no, they were searching for something.
Yeah, and I think Jennifer Coffendorfer mentioned they might have gotten called.
Good. Never bring her up.
Assumed like they were over there talking to them, trying to get more information about, you know, what was going on in Nancy's life in the days up to this. But yeah, the towing of the car, I'm trying to sort of wrap my mind around the reasons that they may have done that.
I mean, I guess I can understand. I'm trying to think of all the reasons why it's not a big deal. And
right.
It's the last person to have seen Nancy Guthrie. My law enforcement source says.
Okay. Before Platteville continues, I'm going to ask you all. For one, we have 163 people in here. Has everyone hit the like? 2, do you think it is a big deal that they took Annie's car?
Well, I do.
I do too. I do too.
Because they had it for a long time.
4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what car she's not driving? That car. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what. I could name case after case after case after case after case after case where they didn't seize a car at all. You know why? They had, I'm going to 8th grade civics. I'm going to dumb it down for everybody. Not like I have to, because you guys are very smart people. They have no probable cause to.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they didn't even seize the car that Adam Montgomery was living in at the Walmart in New Hampshire.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many cars that they thought have been involved in something that they have not seized.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if there was an old switcheroo game on this too. Like you start off with one vehicle, transfer to another vehicle, and then take to another vehicle for destination. I don't know.
I think the other vehicle was Nancy's because they seized it too.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell me that she gets kidnapped the same night her car is caught on camera going by 2 different Circle Ks.
Where they happen to have Bitcoin things inside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the old switcheroo, and you called this out months ago, Ange, is Nancy's own personal vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, who would know where the keys are? And why are you going to go joyriding in her car and then stage a crime scene at 2 a.m. and then show up, was 11 a.m., noon, call the police and say, oh, I can't find my mom. Savannah was right. The first thing you should do is think there's a medical emergency, especially since the back door was propped open.
Right.
Paper said, I think everything they did initially was very indicative of what was going on. I love that word, indicative. Indicative of what was going on and what avenue Ellie was pursuing. They seized their vehicle and searched their house. They did. They did. Yeah, they went to the hotel for quite a while. And again, this legend.
Who takes an 84-year-old woman with limited mobility? It's a burden for the kidnapper to do so unless someone has a vested interest in gaining something from it, like insurance benefits or a family debt that needs paid off, anything like that. This was just the musings, not the evidence of this investigator. But the other sort of earth-shattering information that this source told me is that Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, Annie's husband, Thomas Ocioni, is now maybe considered prime suspect in this case.
Wow. Yeah. So I haven't heard the most, like I said, the most I heard was that the FBI was at their house earlier today. I haven't heard that at all. I don't know much about them. I mean, I think they were.
Ange, was the FBI at your house today?
No, ma'am.
Nicey? Nicey said they had the keys already from Saturday night. Ilyanka, I wonder if A&T were removed from the will. That will be very interesting to know. So who had the FBI at their house ever? We're not talking the local sheriff's office that had a couple questions. We're talking the feds. Totally different scenario.
Yeah.
They were the last ones with her, right? On Friday night.
Two reports that Annie dropped her off, or that Annie and Tomaso dropped her off. It's a little unclear, but this law enforcement source specifically pointed to her car being towed, impounded, and in evidence, and the son-in-law, Tomaso Cioni, age 50, may be the prime suspect in the case.
Well, and it would make sense even if they hopefully did absolutely nothing wrong and this is their mom, and it's like makes your heart hurt. I mean, I feel terrible for everyone in the family, but it would make sense that they don't want to leave any stone unturned. So even if investigators are thinking like, we don't think these people had anything to do with it, but the fact that they were the last ones with her, she was in that car the night before, like maybe they're just going to check everything regardless.
And that, my source said there's a lot of familiarity. This kidnapper had a lot of familiarity with this home, with the 2 different Nest cams that were smashed. And, that they said an 84-year-old woman with limited mobility is not an easy person to kidnap. There has to be a benefit in some way. If you think about a break-in.
No shit. Let's go back to the picture. You can't just scoop her up. She needs help walking. You think that somebody just threw her over their shoulder and said, I'm taking you? No. No. That'd be like asking a newborn to jump up and run. No.
Yeah, and she's what we would call mobility with assistance.
She was on fall restrictions. She had stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you've caught me breaking into your house. Now you've seen me. Well, you don't typically kill someone and take the body or take the live person with you. That's not usually how a burglary that's foiled ends. It's far more complicated and odd. The mystery is more. It just takes you in a different direction. Your thoughts, anyway. The other thing is that my source said they are obviously looking at all cell phone pings and geofencing to find out what was in that neighborhood. This is the kind of thing that, trips up just about anybody. It may have tripped up Dr. Michael McKee in the Tepe murders. He left his phone in the hospital, but the car was seen. Brian Kohberger shuts his phone off right as he's leaving and puts his phone back on right as he's returning home, right around the times of the murders. These are things that some people just don't think about.
Yeah, and it's not just phones. I was talking to a FBI agent who just retired actually from this area earlier, and he was reminding me that it's iPads, it's like all sorts, it's iWatch, it's all sorts of electronics now, that can track you. And he was emphasizing to me that is the number one thing that the FBI is doing right now, and that they can literally narrow it down in such a way through the cell phone towers to who was right in this area, and then try to follow that device. And he thinks that's really what's going on behind the scenes right now. And there's also just questions about, do they have a suspect that we just don't know about? I mean, I was thinking back to Brian Kohberger earlier when you and I were talking every night, and it was like, gosh, these police, they don't seem like they know anything. And then come to find out they knew a lot. Do they just have their poker face on in these press conferences, and they actually know a lot?
And it's true. They do. I mean, that has to be, we have to be kept in the dark about things because they've got to keep the suspect in the dark about a lot of.
And that's absolutely the truth. However, I think in the first 48 hours, and I have an outsider's perspective, I think this sheriff dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think once he realized, I mean, hell, his brother had just passed away. He was supposed to be on bereavement leave.
Yeah.
But he made sure to slug that off real quick to be involved in this. And he talks to Us Weekly and People Magazine more than he does his own people. Like you called him, Ange, Sheriff Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos said apparently the FBI must have made some arrests regarding the ransom notes to make the determination they are fake, like Chris Nanos told Buckmaster 10:30 a.m. radio. I know nothing about that. I know one person was arrested for a fake ransom note, and I think that guy goes to trial in August, something like that.
Yeah,
But-
there may be something to that.
Okay. Like what?
You know what I mean?
Well, like what?
I don't know. Like, I think there's at least 3 people involved, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it all starts with the 2 siblings that are in charge of her daily care. That's just my opinion. I apologize if I'm wrong, but they either know those 2, have been around those 2, or know the situation, or they participated. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I can tell you right now, it stinks to high heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Speaking of stinking to high heaven, here's the poll. Did you hit the like? Can you remember to hype? You bet. 92%. 5% said, nah, you suck. I know exactly who did that, and that is A-okay because I'm loving it.
Well, that's rude.
Oh, no, it's funny. Kick out that stuff. I have a very self-deprecating humor. Guys, this has been a very great show. And please take time to catch up on the shows from yesterday and take a bow, Ange.
Oh. No problem. Thanks for having me up. I'm glad I could help you with that part.
Yeah, it turned out to be one question about warfarin, and it turned into all kinds of things. But hey, that's how we do. So you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. I'm on pool duty. I won't be in the pool. I'm still cleaning it, which I understand it's almost 4th of July, but we have had a ton of rain. And when organisms are growing in your pool, you know it's time to really get to cleaning. All right.
Yeah.
So have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, new members. Thank you, everyone, for being here and keeping Nancy's name out there.
Y'all take care.
Y'all take care.